who've dreamt about changing these words. It's allowed us to turn it into reality. I am full proof of reality, you know? So for me, it's changed my life in every single way. I couldn't breathe without hip hop. I couldn't live without hip hop because, let's be honest, this is how I make my money, innit? Come on. So I'm very happy to be here. And I honestly thank all of you guys for coming out. It's honestly an honor, above all honors, to be on this stage, to be able to talk to you guys, to be able to relate to not only all of you, but all the Africans and all the African kids that are going to grow up and see me here, and they'll be like, oh, they can go even further. So I just want to say thank you, and hopefully tonight we're going to have a great night. Things are going to go amazing. Life is going to be great, innit? Inshallah. Come on. Yeah, come on, a little bit more noise. It's Brooklyn. Woo! Come on. You see, this is what hip hop is about. The fact that I get to do this. It's amazing. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you guys. For the people who don't know, I go by Hawa, and I hope you guys get to see me later on today and we get to talk, inshallah. Have a beautiful one, guys. Thank you.
All right, next coming to the stage, we have Say Adams.
What's up, everybody? Wow. I just have to take this in for a second. You know, I'm from the first generation of people that got involved with hip hop when I was a teenager, back in the 70s. And for me, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Cold Crush Brothers, you know, Houdini, and obviously Run DMC, it meant everything to me. And just a short while later, I became a graffiti artist, and I came up with all the first generation graffiti artists. You know, Crash Days, Lady Pink, Nick Quinones, Eric Hayes, you know, Dondi, Futura, everybody. And shortly after that, I was lucky enough to meet Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons when they were forming Def Jam. And I became the first creative director of Def Jam. I've worked with everybody, from Run DMC to Jay-Z, and everybody in between. And when I think about what hip hop means to me, I think about all the people that we collectively have touched. And I think about opportunity, because in hip hop, you didn't need a college degree. You didn't need to come from money. All you needed was the love of the culture and the hustle. And the hustle back in the 70s and 80s was real. And I just want to tell anybody that's aspiring to do their thing in this culture, you don't need anybody's permission. You just have to jump in there and do it and be excited and remember that it belongs to all of us. Again, my name is Say Adams, and I want to thank you for listening.
All right, next coming to the mic, we have April Silva. Give it up for her.
All right, so y'all feel good. I just have to say that. Y'all feel good. And it's so, I'm so grateful to be here for my life, for your lives, and what we're about to co-create tonight. So, as the other curator, Brandon and Kelly and Justin, they did the main program. I'm co-creating or curating the Hip Hop Dilemma series. So before we get into that and we get into the KRS-One conversation and his lecture, I just want to introduce you to a piece of magic that I actually have on right now, and then I'm gonna share a story. So if you all can see, I'm gonna step to the side.
We can't hear you.
I need the camera to catch this shirt. The significance of this t-shirt, which I have not worn since 1991, is that it is the first piece of product or clothing or merchandise from the very first hip hop conference on a college campus at Howard University in 1991. And from there, I was the founding president and a part of the group of students that forced that event at Howard University 30 plus years ago. And from there, this industry or this intersection of hip hop and education in the academy was birthed because a couple of 18 and 19-year-olds said, we want to take back the culture. We want to merge the academy with the community and that which we create, and we want to own it. And it birthed a movement and enhanced the movement from a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds. So I made it my business to find this shirt and wear it and bring that magic back tonight. So I just had to show it off in celebration of the spirit of youth and optimism and what we can do if we put our mind to it. But the real thing that I wanted to share is a story, if I may. From there, we started to do a lot of work within the culture, and I was traveling, and there was a hip hop conference. It was either in Newark at the hip hop convention, or it was somewhere at University of Wisconsin, I believe it was. And we were all there, a bunch of activists and artists and educators, to kind of do what we're doing now, right? And so at this event, there was a special guest that everybody was clamoring for and waiting for as one of the main General Assembly programs. And at the point that the special guest speaker, who was an elder at the time, was speaking, there was a Q&A session, and the question was asked. Now, this person was known. This person was...
The mic. The mic.
Can you all hear? Yeah. Okay, there we go. This person was highly anticipated. And when we got to the Q&A session of the program, the question was asked, what made you become the person that you are and get involved in politics and social change and activism? Because that's a real thing within hip hop culture, right? You know, there's the music and the dance and all of those things, but the activism, which is my platform, is a real thing. So that question was asked, and everybody was waiting for this amazingly profound answer from this person who had come from the back to sit with us and give us this in-depth information. But the person got to the stage and said, as everybody waited quietly, I am a recovering addict. And my therapist told me that I can't lie. So I did not join the movement and give birth to the artists that you all love so much. I did not join the movement for political reasons. I did not join because I wanted to help and change the community. I joined the Black Panther Party, the person said, because those black men on 125th Street was fine as hell. And that's the only thing that I cared about. So I'm sorry if I don't have a lofty explanation and if I let you down, but the room erupted in laughter. But the person who was speaking that made this statement and this story so poignant is that that person was Afeni Shakur. And she was talking about, the question was asked, how did you get to be the person that gave us Tupac? And the reason I'm telling this story, you all know why I'm telling this story, right? You all know whose birthday it was yesterday, right? You all see the connection. So she said to us, I can't lie to you. Now, I evolved into an activist, but in the moment, I just wanted to be with them fine black men with the afros. And of course, this was in the 70s. And she's like, that's the truth. So what we walked away with is that sometimes the truth is not what you think it is. Sometimes the truth doesn't appear as obviously as we think. So the charge from that night, and I've carried this story with me for years, is that we have to be careful about what we see. And hip hop teaches us that there is a function that our vision has that is beyond our eyes. There's a training that we can involve ourselves in if we allow ourselves to look beyond the obvious, to look beyond the surface, to get a little deep, to be okay with thinking very deeply, right? To be okay with going beyond that which is surface, or maybe beyond the headlines. So that moment taught us about the power of truth, but it also taught us about the power of women and the sacrifice and the evolution that women have given to this culture. So on that note, I want to lift up the spirit of Afeni Shakur. I want to lift up the spirit of the women who have birthed this culture that we love so much. I want to lift up the spirit of everybody, including Tupac, who has passed. And let's tap into the light-filled positivity essence of our ancestors in that way. The light-filled positivity aspects of the culture that we love so much. And let's have an amazing night in the library here. And I thank you and I look forward to talking to you. Take care.
So super excited about this next person. He'll be reading something that he wrote and crafted, and I'll let him say more about it, but I want to bring Jinx to the stage now.
Hi. How you guys doing? That's what we doing? Like, I know we in the library, but come on, like, how you guys doing? You guys feeling good? Anytime someone does that, it's really more for me than it is for y'all. I'm just like, all right, like, I'm here too. Before I get started, I just want to give a huge round of applause. I want to give a huge thank you to the Brooklyn Public Library, the team that brought me in. Yeah, we can do that, sir. That's right. The team that brought me in here was Brandon, Joel, Jakob, and the rest of the Brooklyn Public Library at large. The fact that you guys decided to spend part of your weekend here, you guys came in for Hip Hop 50. Everyone I feel like is doing a Hip Hop 50 of some sort, but the fact that you guys decided to spend it with the Brooklyn Public Library is really important. We are at a moment where our public libraries nationwide, but also specifically in New York City, are being threatened. For you guys to come here and show that you guys care about the culture, but also that you guys care about your libraries, it's very, very important, so thank you. The applause does get good, it does. Secondly, I want to just thank, hip hop. Like, it's really weird. When I was putting this thing together, it made me really nostalgic. It made me think a lot about just growing up, and I realized that I've lived entirely through the lens of hip hop. Like everything I've ever done, you know, like I can check mark important moments in my life. I can think back to the first people I wanted to be like, trying to practice a walk on my way to school because I saw them doing it in the music video. It just it's everything. It's given me language, art, community, a career, point of view, just really everything. So I just want to thank hip hop. That's it. So I'm thanking y'all. When they first hit me to write this, it said 10 Commandments of Hip Hop. I was like, all right, I'm kind of scared, like the 10 Commandments of Hip Hop, but this is what I got. So the first commandment is hip hop must challenge the status quo. From the moment of its inception, hip hop has been contesting norms and centering cultures that were previously rejected and otherwise labeled unfit. It brought us new music that wasn't qualified on Billboard charts or honored with golden gramophones. It brought us dress codes, both original and repurposed, that allowed us to be seen. It brought us new avenues of language, coded, playful, and beautiful. It centered the voices, faces, and ways of life of Black and brown communities that the world had deemed unworthy. It showed America and the world that it was in fact incomplete in its declarations and considerations. 50 years later, hip hop culture has defined the mainstream in all the categories mentioned, but it must continue to challenge the status quo. There are new voices, unseen faces, more communities, untapped genius, and life still to be heralded. Hip hop must do for them what it has done for so many. As we urge hip hop to continue As we urge hip hop to continue to challenge the world that it lives in, we must also challenge hip hop. I didn't think I was gonna go through the numbers. I guess I had to say number two. Number two. No, second. Hip hop must stay aware. On The Pimp a Butterfly, in a song titled You, Kendrick raps, "Where was your antennas?" It was more than an inquiry. It was posed as an accusation. Where was your antennas? What do we give our attention to? What are our eyes on? What do we give our attention to? What are our eyes on? What words leave our lips? What are we consuming? What occupies our minds? The real estate of hip hop, our minds. Now, this isn't a binary predicament that I'm cornering us into here. Hip hop is many things to many people, I understand that. And it's often at the same time, and it's changed faces, tones, and terrains across these last 5 decades. But one of its most powerful offerings is its ability to both ingest information from and inject information into the masses, the people, you and I. And because it comes from us, it speaks to us, it has been inextricably connected to the issues that we face. It's always been there. It's told us to take a microscope to the environments and circumstances that we live in and that affect us, that it has on us. It's like a jungle sometimes that makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It has urged us to challenge leadership, fight the power. It reminds us to reject false narratives. Most of my heroes don't appear on no stamps. It's fueled the resistance against our oppressors. Fuck the police. Sorry. Literals. You'll see. It's made us look inward. I was like, don't start now. It's made us look inward. I sit alone in my four-cornered room staring at candles. It reminds us that there is value in our lives simply because we're alive. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. And it's told us that we gonna be all right. Chuck D labeled hip hop as the CNN of the ghetto. And as this thing of ours has grown larger, evolved, and traveled, that ghetto, both literal and figurative, looms large over us and in us. Hip hop is our megaphone and our mirror. It shows us the world. It shows the world us. And it shows us to ourselves. As we continue to need a lot, and we continue to need a lot of change, a lot of fight, a lot of fighters, a lot of thought, and a lot of love. So hip hop must stay aware. Third, hip hop must honor its history. For far too long, you've heard the gripes and complaints from our forebears within the culture that hip hop is the only genre that discards its elders. Furthermore, that in ignorance of its lineage is almost celebrated, that we bask in our now with little acknowledgement, education, or even interest in those who helped to build our now. And they're not wrong. This is often met with commentary like, they deserve our respect, and we owe it to them to pay homage. Just partially true. The complete truth is that we owe it to ourselves. The truth is that they are us and we them. There is no separation. To know Jamel Shabazz is to know Renaud Medrano. To know MC Lyte is to know Lotto. To know Dapper Dan is to know Virgil Abloh. To know Spike Lee is to know Calmatic. To know Rakim is to know Hove. To know them is to know yourself. They've endured countless battles, cleared hurdles, swerved potholes, fought the power, learned the power, earned the power, and became the power. And they did it all for us. So we must honor and protect our history. Fourth, hip hop must move forward. While we take on the mantle of educating ourselves on where we come from, who ushered in this beautiful way of life, and which events and geniuses have contributed along the way, we must allow hip hop to innovate, evolve, and move forward. The music, the dress code, the language, the politics, the dance moves, the reasoning, the mediums, the general way of hip hop must be given room to grow. That's allowing the seeds from the tree of hip hop to blossom in new regions, watered and nurtured by new caretakers, protected by new stewards. And the fruits it bears will inevitably feed the minds and spirits of more souls than ever before. We can't put a ceiling on hip hop. Stunning its growth, limiting its travels and blocking its ability to bask in the light it so very needs, would be contributing to its demise. Together we built a rich lineage, and while it informs us, our future is not our past. We have to allow hip hop to move forward. Announcements, I feel like I should say 5 for this one, so we'll go 5. Hip hop must nurture its youth. First thing you must understand is that 50 years ago, hip hop came from the youth. So much so that most of our culture's elders are still living and contributing today. Let's give a round of applause for that. And so does that ethos of hip hop as a youth-fueled movement. Secondly, regarding issues that you may take with today's youth, understand they are living in a world that was shaped largely without their input. They didn't ask to be here, but they are. And lastly, they do not have a wealth of experience or the information that comes with it. They're still growing and learning, and that means understanding that they will make mistakes and allowing them the latitude to make them. Some of them terrible, but some of them amazing. With that said, hip hop must nurture its youth. That means giving them things you didn't have when you were their age and not resenting them for it. Opening yourselves and your minds to provide guidance as much as you deliver critique. And helping them to understand the culture's true values and tenets, what it can afford them, and what it requires of them. That means lifting them up as you climb and allowing them to stand on your shoulders. They're the future, and we have to raise them right. In the next 50 years, someone else will be up here. What will they say of our time and theirs? Number 6, hip hop must be inclusive. As we imagine and create the next 50 years of hip hop, it needs to be stated that the culture must go to greater lengths to be truly inclusive. We've become a global leader bridging continents, connecting diasporas, centering those who were previously on the fringes of society, specifically on the lines of race and ethnicity. But we must cast a wider net to be truly inclusive. Inclusive of women, inclusive of the LGBTQ+ community, inclusive of non-binary identifying persons, inclusive of people of different ability and neurodiversity. And when we say inclusive, we're not talking about like temporary quotas for optics or celebrating tokenism, and we're not talking about simply tolerating. We're talking about an embrace, involvement, and equity. We must not just open our doors, but also become a home for varied walks of life. And a good home is considered, it's communal, and it's safe. At year 50, it's proven that what hip hop does, the world emulates. It's far past time that we set the new standard. Number 7. It's my favorite one. Hip hop must remain real.
Yeah.
I needed that. Hip hop culture is one of our nation's largest exports and one of the world's greatest resources. It's been feeding the people for 50 years, long enough to become a necessary item in the cultural diet of this country and our larger world. Multiple generations have been born and bred of it. We cannot allow it to become fake. Hip hop isn't the latest trend rolling down the algorithm or a factory step and repeat song, dance move, or fashion item. Nor is it slang words or talking points and so on and so forth. I mean, it can be those things, but most importantly, it's gotta make you feel something. Y'all listening?
Yes.
It's gotta make you feel something. It should take hold in your mind and your spirit. It should make you wanna dance like no one's looking. It should make you wanna speak out about what's important to you. It should make you feel fly the moment you step out the house. It should make you argue about your top 5 until you storm out the barbershop or leave the group chat, then go home, change your list just a little bit and come right back tomorrow and argue again. Hip hop should feel like a warm embrace or a slap in the face, as long as it makes you feel something. And I bet you guys couldn't tell me what you ate for lunch 2 days ago, and I bet tonight, I ain't gonna put you on blast, but I bet you couldn't name everybody you met tonight. Like you forgot their name, like you shook their hand, then you're like, what's their name? You don't know. It's all right, I do it all the time. I did it tonight, sorry. But I bet you remember that song from 10th grade, right?
Yeah.
Right? That one, yeah. You know why? Because it's real. Hip hop has to stay real. What's up, brother? Number 8. Actually, this is my favorite one. Hip hop must be protected from invaders, appropriators, and those that wish to own us. Hip-hop must be protected from invaders, appropriators, and those that wish to own us. Newsflash, hip-hop is under attack. Now, I know it's not news to you all in this room, but it needs to be said, because our culture is being threatened daily as it is mutated and manhandled by those who simply want to drink from the well without pouring into it. Those who only see barcodes and bottom lines. Those who attempt to clone our likeness, imitate our vernacular, and own our geniuses and remove us altogether from this thing that we made. Does that sound like to you? You know how the story goes. And we can't allow that. In my limited time here on earth, it's been entirely under the guard of hip hop. I'm still learning, still living. But one thing I know for sure is that the one thing these suits and tech bros and posers, shackled to their P&Ls and their trend reports and all their data, the one thing they can't do, they can't make something from the heart. They can't do this. That comes from living in this, being shaped by it, from being an active participant, both as a contributor and a consumer. We're the administrators and the audience. Hip-hop is whatever we want it to be, and never, ever what they tell us it is. We run this shit. In my mind, I didn't imagine my kids here. I'm so sorry. And if everything we make and do and think in this culture, like you guys here tonight, I can see it in your faces. If everything we think and do in this culture, if we do it with love, we'll win. I mean, they're gonna keep coming, right? Like they keep inventing new every day, but we're gonna win. Yeah. Number 9, hip hop must cherish creativity and foster curiosity. There is genius in this culture. I don't need to state it, but I do enjoy saying it. There is genius in this culture. We have to cherish creativity and foster curiosity. That means allowing the culture to explore and venture off, to be stretched and reimagined, to be remixed and sampled, to allow it to be investigated and flipped inside out. To, of course, operate with reverence and respect, but to not let what is prevent us from creating what could be. Hip-hop got to its 50th year by constantly asking, what do we want to say? How can we do it? Who wants to help? And what's next? You see, this culture is a kaleidoscope. With each subtle twist of the lens, new images reveal themselves. New shapes and colors dance in the light, and another facet of this thing we love comes into focus. Hip-hop's ability to be theater, biography, anthem, fantasy, to be a full contact sport or a therapy session, to be our soapbox and our red carpet, sometimes all at once, will forever keep it at the center of creativity. I urge you all, do what you can with what you've got while you've got it. Learn as much as you can, make as much as you can, share as much as you can, and question everything. Number 10, we got here kind of fast. Number 10, probably the most important one. Hip-hop must remain fun. Again, hip-hop is a lot of things to a lot of people, but at its core, it's fun. 50 years of the culture means we have people in this room who've experienced early park jams, Rapper's Delight, roller rinks, dance crews, graffiti filling the subways, 5-finger rings and nameplate necklaces, hats to the side, and that one gold tooth. We've got people in here who went to the tunnel. If you went, you can applaud. Like, you're not gonna snitch on your side. What's that? We're gonna add that in. I'm gonna do that live, all right? All right, here we go. We got people in here who went to the tunnel, the Palladium, SOBs, the lyricists. I was on a roll, all right.
Wetlands.
I'll start again. From the top. I'm just playing. We've got people in here who went to the tunnel, Palladium, SOBs, the Lyricist Lounge, Mad Wednesdays, Howard Homecoming.
The Fever.
Freaknik. No one, yeah, one person clapped, right? Yeah. They went from the block to the Rock Nation brunch. We got people who consumed and collected rap pages, Ego Trip, The Source, Vibe, Double XL, Complex Magazine, and many others. Listen to New York's Hot 97 and LA's Power 106. Watch Yo MTV Raps, 106 in Park, Cedar's World, Rap City, The Boondocks. People who rock Fubu, Cross Colors, and Telfar. People who bang with Def Jam, Rough Riders, and Rawkus. People who love Pusha T and Drake. Those who listen to DJ Screw tapes, those who listen to DJ Clue tapes. Rock with Gangsta Grills and Funk Flex Bombs. People who are addicted to the Combat Jack show and love a good Migos ad-lib. Those of you who've experienced Lil Wayne, Lil Fame, Lil Bow Wow, Lil B, Lil C's, Lil Kim, and Lil Uzi. We've got vinyl collectors, tape hoarders, mixtape recorders, MP3 downloaders, streamers, bloggers, vloggers, and TikTokers, and too many more icons, events, institutions, and eras to list. And when you hear those names, phrases, and moments, doesn't it feel fun?
Yeah.
Come on, doesn't it feel fun? Think about your favorite moment, like just the one like you get, it's a hip hop moment. Hip hop must remain fun. We've got to let it bounce off the walls, fueled by fantasy, shaped by friction. We've got to let it blast through the speakers and strut down the street. We've got to make sure it puts a smile on your face and a wince at how crazy it is. It's got to fill our hearts with joy. We've got to let it live through us. We've got to let it live through us because hip hop is alive. It's literally alive, like you and I. It's a thing that's breathing, talking, laughing, rapping, dancing, romancing, crying, flossing, boasting, bragging, asking, inquiring, and admiring. It can be righteous and wrong, religious and regretful. It can build you up, or it can hit you like a ton of bricks. It's challenging, channeling, collecting, and reflecting. Hip hop is all in your face, living rent-free in your mind, at the tip of your tongue, in your fingers and limbs, alive. In the 50th year as a movement and mind state, these are the 10 commandments of hip hop. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, next up, fashion curator Solio and his models for Out of Fashion. Let's give a warm welcome to Solio.
What's up, what's up? How we doing, Brooklyn? It's Brooklyn in the house. When I say hip hop, you say style. Hip hop. Hip hop. All right, we got a really cool little fashion show for you guys. I'm gonna turn my volume down just a little bit. All right, move out the way. So today we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop, but there would be no hip hop without style. Style is one of the many elements of hip hop that makes it what it is and has spread it throughout the globe. So you guys ready for a little fashion show? All right. Our model, Hopeton, come on out, Hopeton. He is wearing the legendary Dapper Dan and Puma. This is the debut of one of Dapper Dan's brand new creations for his upcoming Puma collection. It's a classic tracksuit silhouette, all about logo mania. And look at the sneakers, they have gold embellishment on the back. This is, look, it's hip hop maximalism meets sportswear. Make sure to grab this look July 15th when it hits stores. Thank you, Hopeton. Hang out. Up next, we have Jason wearing Brooklyn's own Walker wear by April Walker. He's proving that men can be feminists too, with text on the front that says the future been female, and on the back, turn around, is a tribute to groundbreaking Brooklyn-born politician Shirley Chisholm. Give it up! Give it up! And he's wearing custom Rose Legacy print shorts. Up next is our model Bree, representing Afro-centric hip-hop style. She's wearing the legend and Brooklyn's own Mushu. This is his take on hip-hop logo mania, infused with the celebration of the motherland. The logo is defined as African spirit, and it references African mass. This is Black Pride meets hip-hop style. Up next, Israel. He is the founder and artist of Hubane. Y'all, this is the future of hip hop fashion. Think Outkast, think Lil Nas X, think Doja Cat. This is an industrial approach to design with his own Burnham Venom material. And finally, triple t-shirts by Bo McCall. The model is Tiffany Renee. Come on out, girl. So these are not one, not two, but 3 t-shirts worn multiple different ways. You can wear it as a hoodie, as a poncho, and she's also wearing it as a skirt. This is a tribute to Wu-Tang and Brooklyn's own ODB. Give it up for our models. You will see us walking around the library. Feel free to pose, ask a question, and enjoy the show. Come on, divas.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we get a warm welcome for the voice of New York, Angie Martinez, and the Honorable Gloria Carter.
Thank you. Hello, Brooklyn. I wanted to be in the fashion show. I got my Tiana Taylor sneakers on today. Miss Carter is wearing the Beyonce Ivy Park collection today. Yes, work it. Everybody okay? Everybody feels good? Oh, we have one of the greatest mothers to come out of Brooklyn here with us today at the Brooklyn Library. How you feeling today, Miss Carter?
Like I feel every day, blessed.
Yes! Some people say that, but you actually have a ritual to make sure that exudes your whole presence every day, right? You wake up and think that every morning. You have a lot to celebrate right now. So as I'm sure some of you know, Mrs. Carter is the founder and CEO of the Sean Carter Foundation, which is co-founded with Sean Carter, child of Brooklyn. And they're celebrating their 20th year anniversary right now, right?
Yes.
What does that feel like, 20 years of work?
At the bottom, we didn't even realize, the staff and all, we didn't realize that we've been doing it for 20 years until...
Let's make sure her mic is a little louder.
We don't look at time. We just want to move forward. So when they said, oh, it's time to celebrate 20 years, we was like, 20 years? We've been doing it for 20 years? And that's just the beginning. We're not going to stop because there's so much work that needs to be done.
Yeah. And you've done so much in the past 20 years. The celebration of the 20 years is celebrating legacy, excellence, and inspiration, correct?
Yes.
Break that down for us.
Legacy. Let's start with that. That's when you do something from your heart and you look for nothing in return. You just want to be a person that can uplift other people to make them better. Mm-hmm. You know, because we all can be excellent. We all have that inside of us. We just have to move forward and bring it forward.
And excellence?
Excellence. Excellence, I just spoke of that. We all have that.
We all have it. And inspiration.
Inspiration. You have to be inspired. See, with us, what we have to start doing is teach each other by just having conversation because we assume that everybody knows the same thing, and that's not true. Until you start speaking to people, then you'll learn that they do. Because like, you know, me growing up, right, I come from a background where children were seen and not heard. Okay, and I said that when I have children, they're gonna have a voice. So one day, are y'all ready for the story? Living in the projects, I was coming home from work one day, and because we was always taught to respect adults, that I was walking down the street with these two little boys. One was on one side of the street, the other was on the other side of the street, and they were cursing at each other. And I walked up to the young boy and I grabbed him and I said, "Oh, that's not, you too little to be having that kind of behavior." And the little boy cursed me out. So, of course, because where I came from, I grabbed him because there's just a level of respect that you're supposed to have for the elders.
You put your hands on somebody else's child?
I grabbed him like this and said, "Let's go see your parents." But then reality set in and I was like, "Oh, you have that kind of behavior, I better not do that," right? And the most amazing thing, and it was really, for me, it gave me a reality check. But when I walked in the door, my daughter Michelle looked at my face and she said, "Mom, what happened?" And I said to her, "A little kid just cursed me out." And she said to me, "Mom, welcome to the real world." Can you believe that? And it's acceptable.
That must have made you sad.
Yeah, it made me sad, but how can we accept something it's bad behavior? And we have to now start acting on it, so that we can make a difference.
And that's the base of the foundation too, right? It's seeing kids like that. Seeing kids that are sometimes overlooked. Let's talk about the beginning of it and how it came to fruition. You started this foundation a year after you retired, correct?
Yes.
So you didn't want to sit down. You wanted to get right back to work. You worked your whole life, single mother of 4 here in Brooklyn, raising four children on your own. You work your whole life, and one day your son says, or your family says, or your kids say, "Ma, you can't work anymore."
Well, we had an argument about that.
It didn't go down that easy.
We definitely had an argument about that because I've worked all my life and I never want to depend on anybody. So I didn't even know that my son felt that, I didn't even know that my son was saying that I was the ghost in the closet because I didn't want to retire. Because my mother raised us to believe that, you work hard and you hold your own. So yeah, she raised strong too.
This is not at the beginning of Jay's career, by the way. Jay is a worldwide household name, and she's still working because because you want to hold your own.
Yeah, because I raised my children to be independent, and I felt like I raised y'all to be independent, so why would I just sit there and expect you? Okay. and expect you to take care of me, because I've been used to all my life of taking care of myself and my children. So I've got that's my baby daughter right there, Andrea.
Hi, Andrea. Andrea, was it a full family intervention? It was a full family intervention. It was time.
Yeah.
And so retirement lasted for 1 year, and she said, what did you say?
I was like, I have to do something. Yeah. I have to do something. So I called my son up and he was like, "Listen, we need to do something." So he says, "What is it that you want to do, Mom?" And I said, "So much is given, much is expected. There's a whole bunch of kids out here in this world who need someone to help them. Mm-hmm. And because of these young people's GPAs, no one would look at them. So those are the kids that I decided that we needed to address. And the only one at that time that would look at our children was HBCUs. So the thing about these young people are, I can be excellent. And all I want somebody to do is just see me, and I will show you who I am. And that's what they've been doing
They've been showing you.
for 20 years. So how we can make that.
What are some of the greatest success stories? Like, what are the proudest moments?
My proudest moments, there's so many. Because of the foundation I've been in a lot of beautiful situations. And I call it blessings every day. I've been getting my accolades while I'm here. I'm able to smell my roses while I'm here. Not that I look for that, because I don't do that. My greatest moments.
They're telling you, she's not gonna yell at me.
Greatest moments. Okay.
They said your mic was
I'll try to hold it close to so you can.
It's amazing to me to think about that. When you think about a woman who worked her whole life and raised 4 kids on her own and being a single mother here in Brooklyn, and one day one of your children is so successful that it changes the trajectory of the whole family.
Yes.
That one person in your family's success could change everybody's lives in that way, and it did. How did you adjust to that? Because that comes with fame, responsibility. You talk about the gift and the curse a lot.
Yes. Well, that's what it was. It was my son said it. He said, "Mom, my life is getting ready to become a gift and a curse." And I didn't know what it meant that night. Because for me, it was like, okay, because I'm a people person. I love people. I love reading their company. I love having conversations with people. My daughter tells people, don't sit with my mother too long because she must start talking and she might make you cry. So I'm like, stop telling people that. It's true because I speak the truth. I try not to be that person that tries to force anybody to do anything. I just want you to hear a different side of what you're thinking. So, different things for me was hard because I was a people person. And because I'm a nice person.
So you have to be a little more guarded now to be protected, right?
Well, I came up with a way to handle the situation. Because like when I started reading, I didn't know whether you like Laura or whether you like Jay-Z's mom. You know, so I had to start putting stuff in perspective, and how I put it in perspective was like, I will receive everybody, and I will start you at the top of the pinnacle. And what I will do for you, because you take my comments for weakness, I will allow you to work your way down where you want to be in my life. Because when you are out of my life, it's because that's you chose, I didn't choose. So then there's no reason for me to be the back.
I never want to be on your bad side. I have Jay has been tremendous through my whole career. From the beginning of my career, we had these, when he started getting bigger and bigger, he'd always come back and do interviews with me here in New York. We had 97 people would be trying to get interviews all over the world. We had a real, just like loyalty, and would always show up. We have one interview that still goes viral today. I see it on TikTok when he talks about his uncle having fear about his success. His uncle telling him he's never going to make it as a rapper. And he said, he didn't blame his uncle because that was his uncle's fears, putting it onto him. Did you have those same fears for your son? Did you believe in this big vision?
I believe in my son. Because he was a special child from the day he was born. He taught himself, it's in his record. He taught himself how to ride a bike when he was 4 years old.
We heard that December.
So that's true. He was a very special child. He was that kid that's like, the sun is shining, I want to go outside. And I'll be like, baby, it's cold outside. And he was like, but the sun is shining. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to let you go outside. Open the door, put him outside, and I'm looking out the door, and about a couple of minutes, he's ready to go. So I was like, so what happened? He said, it's cold outside. You're supposed to fall down on it. But what falling down does is teaches you how to walk.
He's been really transparent in his music about that. I think that's one of the reasons people always fell in love with him and followed his career from 20s to 30s to 40s to Evolve. And then as we talk about, because we were talking about Hip Hop 50 back there, and how much hip hop has, let's go to that first. Let's talk about hip hop first, and then we'll work our way up to that. What is hip hop meant to this foundation, to you? What is your relationship with it? I've heard you say you don't love the curse words.
Hip hop is one of the reasons why the foundation is interested, because of my son being a hip hop artist. If it wasn't for that, to start us, and maintain us, when we were struggling. Whenever you start any kind of business, you starting at the bottom, and you're struggling in the hurdle, and you have to learn the way, you have to feel the way, especially when you're trying to uplift children. The devil is always busy. So there's times when you're going to feel like, I can't do this, but you can do it, because the foundation taught me that that's my purpose. Like sometimes, I used to always say, you know your purpose, you know your purpose. No, you don't. Sometimes your purpose is you. And by us doing the foundation, that was my purpose